Hey y'all, I'm Patrick Haggerty from ROI Training, and I'm here today to tell you about a new Google Cloud feature, log alerts. Now, log alerts are essentially alerts which would be triggered by specific log messages, right? Inside Google Cloud, all your log messages come into Google Cloud Logging, and what Google has brought out is a new feature that will watch for a particular pattern in those logs. And whenever a log entry that matches that pattern is encountered, an alert will be triggered. Now, I have a links file I've created with all kinds of helpful links related to Google Cloud. You can find this helpful links file at gcp.help. If your firewall doesn't like the gcp.help redirect URL, or if you can't get to Google Docs, don't bother requesting access, because that's really not an access problem. It's probably your org blocks Google Docs. I also have a PDF file version you can find at files.gcp.how/links.pdf, and that's not a live document. I update it every couple of weeks, but it's got most of the links in it. If you go through the table of contents, get down a bit, I have an operations section, and monitoring is in the operations section. I have several alerts. I have several links tied to alerting, and you'll see the one on log-based alerts right inside there. If you go to that link to log-based alerts, it'll give you a lot more useful information on this new Google Cloud feature. Now, to help demonstrate a log-based alert, inside my links file down towards the bottom, I have some demo code, and I have a small Node.js app I created that just has a bunch of logging monitoring stuff inside of it. I've gone ahead inside of Google Cloud, and I've created a Kubernetes cluster that can run containerized workloads. So I've got my demo cluster right there. My demo cluster I've got set up so I can access it from Cloud Shell. Cloud Shell is a little web-based virtual machine that you can run inside Google Cloud and access Google Cloud from. I've cloned down my sample application. Here's the index file. This is the main part of the sample application. And if I come in and look at it, you'll see it's a lightweight web application. You go to the home page, it says hello world. There's several logging monitoring related links in here. One of them is /error. If you go to /error, it attempts to call the does not exist function, which literally doesn't exist. So that blows up, and it catches that error right there. When it catches it, it then logs it to standard error, and it prints to standard error processing /error, and then it concatenates to the end whatever's in that exception object right there. Okay, so my application is written. I have a Docker file to help containerize it. I have a little build script which uses Cloud Build to build it, and you can see down here I've just built it. There is the image, the Docker container image, which has been uploaded to the container registry. I can copy that image path out, and I can take it over here to this Kubernetes file I have. This Kubernetes file is going to run 3 copies of my application. And let me paste in the image right there. There's my application. It's also going to go ahead and spin up a service to allow you to access this application from the outside world. So if I come down here and say, hey, kubectl, please apply everything in that Kubernetes YAML file, it will reach out to my Kubernetes cluster, and you see there's the deployment, the 3 copies running. There is the service. While I let that come up for a minute, let me go over to logging. Scroll down about halfway down, that's where your operations suite is, and log-based alerts are created from logging. So let me go to logging, and here's my Logs Explorer. My Logs Explorer allows me to find any log messages matching a particular pattern. Okay, well, let me run my app so I can get to a log message. So let me come in here and let me open up Kubernetes in its own tab. And let me check on the workloads. Did my workload get deployed into my demo cluster? There it is. Hello logging, JavaScript deployment. I've got 3 out of 3 copies running. Everything looks green. Let me go to my services. There's that load balancer service that allows you to access my app from the outside world. Let me run it. There you go. I see my hello world. Now, remember the problem comes up if you go to my application and you go to /error. Remember, that's when you get a problem. So let me go to my application and do /error. Broken now, come back later. Yep, broken now, come back later. But also remember, it just logged a message out to standard error. Okay, let me find that message. If I come over here to logging, right? If I come over here to logging, I can see in the last, handful of minutes, Kubernetes has generated a lot of logs. Yeah, but I'm looking for a very particular log. It's coming out of a Kubernetes container. Let me look at containers. I know the name of the container. The name of the container is hello logging container, hello logging containers. So now I've gone from, thousands to like 16 messages. Oh, and it's an error message. There we go. Remember what the log message says? Error processing /error, and then some exception object goodies. So sure enough, error processing /error, reference error does not exist, is not defined. Okay, so there's the one log message I'm looking for. Now, before you create a log alert, make sure your filter is very specific. So what have I filtered for? Well, if any errors come out of the hello logging container, which is a Kubernetes container, that's what I'm capturing. Be sure that your filter is specific. Okay? If your filter is not specific enough, you'll receive false messages for things that you didn't want to be alerted for, right? If it's overly specific, okay, like in this case, I could actually drill down and I could say, yeah, I want to look for, not only an error, but this exact error. Well, yeah, that's very specific now, but I got to be careful, right? Because if anything varies in that string, this no longer matches, right? So make sure your filter is appropriate to what you want to alert on. Anytime an error comes out of hello logging container, that's what I want to be alerted for, okay? So see, there's where we create our alert. So I'm in the Logs Explorer, and in the new Logs Explorer, they've added this Create Alert button. Let me go to my Create Alert button, and it pulls up an alert dialog. Okay. Error in hello logging. That's the name. Documentation. The documentation should be if there's an easy fix. Okay. If there's an easy fix, I can say something like, try this, try that, try the other. What I'm not going to do here in the documentation section, though, is put stuff like, this is an error coming out of hello logging. All that's going to be in the message to begin with, right? So if there's an easy fix, you can put it in the documentation. A link to a playbook would be a great choice to put there. And again, notice how it's marked down. Okay, marked down. Yeah. Okay, you see the filter I've got in my Logs Explorer? That's the filter that comes in here. And you can preview the logs if you want to double check that filter. Okay, now, what if multiple problems show up in a period of time? How often do you want to be alerted? Okay, so if my application starts blowing up and I'm getting 100 errors a minute, okay, it's still not going to send me an email or an alert every single time the error occurs. What I can do is I can put a little padding between. Okay, yeah, send me a message and let me know that this is a problem. But again, I don't want to receive a notification maybe more than once an hour. Okay, or once a day, or whatever you want to set it to. Okay, once an hour. So again, what that means is when the very first message shows up, it's going to send me an alert. Okay, but then if the error logs continue to show up, it's not going to keep alerting me every single time. It's going to wait an hour before it sends me the next message, right? Okay. Who should be notified? Okay, now this is an alerting thing, right? This is an alerting thing. In alerting, I've configured a notification channel, which is an email to me. Okay. Now, if you don't know about notification channels, hold on and I'll show you a little bit on that in a second. Great. So there's my logs-based alert, which has been created. Good. Now, typically when you create a new log-based alert, it takes a minute or two before the messages actually show up. So let me pause just a second and I'll get right back to you. Okay, so I gave the log-based alert a minute or so to take effect. Then I went over to my error page. I refreshed my error page a couple of times to trigger the alert. And now let's go take a look. So alerts, remember, are part of monitoring. So if I go back to my hamburger menu and I scroll down about halfway to kind of the operations suite section and I go to monitoring alerting, that's where that alert we just created shows up, right? So down here at the bottom, you see there's the error and hello logging policy I created. You'll recall that I had a notification channel pre-configured. I set it up before I started this demo to send me an email whenever I choose that as a notification channel, right? And you'll see I actually have an incident firing right now. So that's telling me that my log-based alert has tripped, okay? Log match condition fired. Aha. So it found an entry that matches my alert configuration. Okay. Also, if I go over here and I look at my email, I have an email I just got from Google that looks like this. Error in hello logging, right? Error in hello logging. Log match condition fired for Kubernetes container. Okay, so remember, it shows me in the email what triggered the alert. Summary, the time, the project, everything else, which policy is it, see the link to the policy. It also, if you put in documentation with the easy fix, it'll show you your easy fix right there as well. Excellent. And that, my friends, is Google's new log-based alert. I'm Patrick Haggerty from ROI Training, and I hope you found this video helpful.